29, 59 points with 23 assists on their way to beating the Cavs in the 7-8 play-in. Brooklyn will now they have the 7 seed now, so they will get the 2 seed Celtics in the first round of these playoffs on Sunday. Boston won the regular season series 3-1, averaging over 121 points. That's their highest scoring average against any Eastern Conference team this season. But after the game last night, Bruce Brown of the Nets, he had 19 points, had some stuff to say about Boston, and then KD had some thoughts about his young teammates saying it. Listen to this.
Now they don't have Robert Williams, so they have less of a presence in the paint, and we could attack Al Horford and Tice. So them not having Robert Williams is huge. What did he say? All right, man. That's caffeine probably talking. Take some before the game. We don't need to say like that. Let's just go out there and hoop.
Former NBA sharpshooter Tim Legler with me. Shoots sharp now on TV. We're going to get to the Celtics series in a second. What was your biggest takeaway from the Nets last night?
That this is what we were all wondering we were going to see, and how we're afraid of what the Nets are capable of doing when these two guys play that well. I mean, Kyrie Irving, to me, he's got the freshest legs of any star player in the postseason. You saw it last night. I mean, he just looks so spry, so quick. His ability to escape, to go perfect from the field in the first half is absolutely incredible when you think of this guy's played less than half a season. But this is the talent level that they have. Now, look, this is a Cleveland Cavaliers team that was leaking oil coming in, and they're shorthanded. They've got key guys out, and Darius Garland is their lone offensive star, and he played great, but it wasn't enough. They hit them with a huge punch early, and they held on. But this is exactly why no team wanted to be handed the Brooklyn Nets in the postseason in any round, no matter what spot they're coming from in the seeding.
You make an interesting point about the fresh legs. On the other hand, it's Ramadan. Kyrie is fasting, nothing from sunup to sundown. He still did that. We've seen Hakeem do it, right, back in the day, but that is impressive legs. He hit his first 12 shots, and it's unsurprising, right? Kyrie just gives you the sense that in a moment like this, with everything that's gone on this season, he wants a cause, like something larger than himself. It looks like he's found it, the ups and downs of this season, no vaccination and all this, and that's a championship level player.
No, it's very true. He is like that guy that's could be like a Broadway star, right? And is sick for the 2 weeks leading up to opening night. But that curtain goes back, and he turns into this. He loves the pressure. He loves the moment. I thought the statement that they made earlier this year on March 10th in that game with Philly, there was so much drama and build up around the Ben Simmons returning. And Ben didn't play, but he was on the bench. But the environment in that city, waiting for those guys to come in. And guess what? 2 guys showed up, and it was those 2 because they love that kind of environment, and they've proven it time and time again.
Might be all you need. They were waxing the Bucks last year with just those 2 guys before Kyrie got hurt. But who has the most pressure, do you think, to perform in this first-round matchup and include Boston there?
Clearly Jason Tatum. It's not even close. Because, look, these guys are champions. Kevin Durant has won championships. Kyrie Irving has won championships and played great in doing it. If you're Jason Tatum, the way you have played the second half of this season, you've arrived, man. You want to bring a seat up to that table. You want to swim to the deep end of the pool where these guys are located. This is your moment, and you've got to deliver. And that means what better guy to put in front of you than Kevin Durant, the 2 best offensive small forwards in the NBA, going at it. And here's the best part. They will guard each other a lot. A lot of times these guys avoid each other, or the coaches do. They're going to guard each other quite a bit. But here's the thing. It's not just about raw numbers. It's the series-defining moments, the possessions in the fourth quarter. That's where Jason Tatum has to come through on this stage to get them to the next round.
Frank Isola mentioned it yesterday after the game. Tatum is a much better overall player, a facilitator too. KD became a great defender in Golden State, still accepts those assignments, but no excuses. If you are the best player on a championship team and we look at Tatum, can you be that? Go do that. Even though the other team has
exactly right. That's my point.
I like the Nets in 6 anyway, against all reasoning, based on what we've seen, just because of KD and Kyrie. Who do you like?
Well, I like that you put a number on it, because I always think there's a way of picking series. If you say 4, you think they shouldn't be on the court with them. If you say 5, you know it's a mismatch, but you'll give them 1. If you say 6, you're pretty certain who's going to win. If you say 7, it's a coin toss.
I just don't think they're going to go to Boston.
I think Boston wins this in 7 games, and that's risky, because if it does get to a 7th game, Are you going to bet against those two guys I just showed you? But I just think
Dude, other than win it. This is his best chance to win it. Last year, they had a legit shot to the NBA Finals. Couldn't get over the hump against the Bucks. This year, from the beginning of the season to the end of the regular season, they have been the best team. He is the leader of this team. Him and Devin Booker, a lot at stake for CP3 and his overall legacy. Even though I think it's cemented, but still, a championship really adds another layer of value. Last up,
Number 1.
that's James Harden, man. You talk about a potential $275 million deal at stake. You forced your way out of Houston. You forced your way out of Brooklyn. There's been discontent between you and Katie about you coming into training camp, being out of shape, being heavy, not having that spirited, demonstrative mentality that we want our greatest players in the game, of all games of sports, to have. A Kobe-like Mamba mentality. People are questioning his work ethic. Can he turn around in Philadelphia? And it leads to, if they get bounced in the first round by the Toronto Raptors, all hell will break loose in Philadelphia. And the question leads to make you think, yes, James Harden, one of the most innovative offensive players the game of basketball has ever seen, but can you count on him in the moments when you need to? That's the question we have for James Harden.
That's
275, Jay?
275, Key.
Yeah, see, I would flip 1 and 2. And the only reason why, because at stake, Chris Paul's legacy is what it is, but the window completely shut on him if they don't get it done this year, because the West is going to just get better and healthier next year. And even though Phoenix is an emerging team in the West, he gets a year older. James Harden, on the other hand, if you're talking about 275, he's going to get his money regardless, because they gave away too much to risk pissing him off and having him mad and deciding to say, you know what, y'all not going to give me what I want. I'd rather take less money from somebody else.
Look, they did give up a lot for him. You agree they're going to pay Harden, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the question then, if they're going to pay Harden. And I hear what you're saying about CP3. That's a whole other conversation, because every year it feels like we're saying this is his best shot, and he hasn't gotten it done yet. I don't know how much better he can play basketball.
Every year it feels like it feels that way for at least the last 5 years, right?
Yeah, he's had a lot of bites at the apple where you're like, this time, and he came up short.
Because
right?
we're rooting for him so much.
No doubt. No doubt. That's how you're supposed to play point. When I was a kid, if someone would have said, hey, play point guard like that, it'd be like, oh, my God, it's the perfect point guard. So, but James Harden, let's focus on him for a second. Because the reporting that KD was not happy with Harden's shape to start the season, right? Is this something, like, let's just say Harden's not the same right now, and he doesn't look like he's in the best shape. Is that something he can get back? Like, is this just a bridge too far now and he can't come back to what he was? Or, because if you can get it back, then you can justify the 2 and change, right? 200+ million. But if this is him now, how can you give him that money?
Look, I think Daryl Morey has kind of levied the whole franchise for James Harden to a degree to get him there with Joel Embiid in his prime. He's going to get paid his money. But if I were Daryl Morey and they got bounced in the first round, I can't give him that money. I can't give him 270. Key, and I know I can potentially lose him, but we need to have a coming to Christ conversation.
Like, what are you losing?
About, like, I know you think you deserve it, but I don't know if you're that type of player if I'm going to get this James Harden.
You just gave up the world to get him. You got to pay him.
Key,
you no matter what, you already calculated the what if into the equation when you went out and got him. You already calculated. You already had that conversation. Hey, what if he tears his ACL? Hey, what if he blows his back? Hey,
but
what
he
if
hasn't done that yet,
this?
Key. He hasn't done any of those things yet. But if you determine that he's gone for good, that the old James Harden's not coming back, then
but you